don't get economic policy from my bishops or my cardinals or from my pope. And I'd like to see what he says as it relates to climate change. And I think religion ought to be about making us better as people and less about things that end up getting into the political realm. So.
Jeb Bush on the campaign trail yesterday in New Hampshire talking about Pope Francis as the pontiff is scheduled to unveil an encyclical on climate change and the environment on Thursday. Bush is Catholic, but he said religious leaders should steer clear of political issues. It's almost time for a divine appointment with our political panel. From Newsmax Washington, Ford O'Connell, noted Republican strategist, and back again from Newsmax New York, Rick Ungar, senior political contributor for Forbes.com and co-host of the Daily Wrap here on Newsmax TV. Now, Ford, let me start with you. Could this statement about the Pope spell trouble for Jeb with the Hispanic vote, since Hispanics are predominantly Catholic?
Absolutely not, because unlike Rick Santorum, Jeb Bush was extremely respectful. He's saying, hey, I respect the Catholic Church, and I recognize the position of the Holy Father, but guess what? Pope Francis needs to stick to saving souls and promoting the family and not weigh into economic issues. I think Jeb actually hit the right tone compared to a lot of his other Republican competitors.
So, Rick, there is Ford saying that Jeb was respectful, yet pointing out the differences. Could it hurt Jeb on the campaign trail?
No, I don't think it will. I think Ford's got it basically right. Look, what I find interesting about this whole thing, you know, the Pope, we can probably say, has less of a political axe to grind than anybody else we might think of when it comes to the environment. What I want to see is what research he has. You know, the Vatican is known for having some great scientists. I hope that when we see the document tomorrow, it's going to contain some research. I've always been agnostic on this subject because I don't know what scientists to believe. I mean, each side argues the other side is kind of not being legit on this, and they may be right. So I'm hoping that the Pope has some fresh science that'll tell us something.
Well, we will see what happens with that encyclical issued from the Holy See. Now, let's move along to another candidate. Donald Trump, after announcing yesterday, was a trending topic on social media in a big way. You know, the internet and all these sites continue to grow as campaign tools in the presidential process. I think Trump got something like, 6 million interactions on Facebook yesterday. How much of a role is the internet going to play in this election cycle? And what does that say about Trump's announcement yesterday, Ford?
Well, I think the internet's going to play a huge role in this cycle because most people don't watch news. But understand something with Trump. Never underestimate the power of celebrity. He's a bombastic self-promoter who's most interested in controversy and headlines, which in my ideal is a personality trait better suited for a circus clown, not for commander-in-chief.
Whoa. So much for the 11th commandment when it comes to Donald Trump. Rick Ungar, do you share Ford's disdain about the Donald?
Yeah, I kind of do. I'm not making this easy today. Ford and I are agreeing on everything. Look, you know, I'm sure that most of those 6 million tweets that you're referencing were jokes or jabs. You know, look, I mean, I've gone through the speech. I listened to it. I've now gone through it, found enormous numbers of inaccuracies and false statements. I don't know. You know what? It's a gift to all of us in the media. It's an early Christmas. We're going to have lots of fun with him until he decides to drop out.
All right. Boy, you guys are tough on the Donald. Now, let's talk about the upcoming debate. Fox News has new debate rules. They're actually going to have 2 programs, one with the candidates that meet their criteria, the second for the, quote, also rounds. But there's a new Rasmussen poll out showing that an overwhelming majority of Americans want the entire field in a single debate, 60%, as opposed to the 33% that want the top polled candidates. So with that in mind, should Fox revise their rules yet a third time and have like a drawing to see who gets the spots, or try to get everybody on the stage, Ford?
Guess what? 60% of the people in the Rasmussen poll are not being practical. I think 10 people as it is too many, particularly in a 2-hour debate setting. What's the most anyone's going to be able to say? 4 to 5 minutes? That's not a debate. That's a farce. And it's who has best mastered the gotcha moment is going to win these debates. It should be about educating the Republican primary voter on the issues in the candidates that they're going to vote about, not what the mainstream media wants to talk about the next morning.
All right, Rick, your 2 cents in the last 20 seconds here, sir.
Well, far be it from me to give advice to the Republicans to help them save themselves, but these people are right. You can't do it this way. You can't put them all on the stage. Forbes is absolutely right about that. But there is a fair way to do this that gives every candidate a chance, and this isn't it.
All right, a fair and balanced move. Did I just say that? At any rate, Rick Ungar, Ford O'Connell, you have our thanks. Now, we want to find out from you. Who are you supporting in the Republican primary? Go to newsmaxpolls.com and vote for the candidate of your choice. We're coming back.